What's going on, everyone? It's Sean with another Tesla video, and in this one I'm going to do a part 2 of the Tesla Semi event recap where I talk about the next gen Roadster. By the way, sorry for the creepy lighting. I'm in my car, it's Sunday evening. I wanted to get this one out, provide my thoughts on the next generation Roadster. So I'll kind of pick up where I left off. So Elon got done talking about the Tesla Semi and how great it is. There's two trucks that are kind of behind him as he's talking. He finishes it up. The trucks kind of roll out. The larger one, the lighter gray one, kind of rolls off with ease. The dark, kind of matte, space gray style one, interestingly, slowly kind of moves off in a different pattern or direction than the first one. But at that time, in real time, I didn't really think much of it. So it kind of does this really wide angle turn and slowly pulls off, just off stage. The lights go down and you think everything's all over. And then all of a sudden, on the screen, the projector screen, is this sound and this picture that if you've seen Spaceballs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It goes into this like, it's faster than warp speed, it's faster than ludicrous, it's plaid. And like I said, if you've seen Spaceballs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, which probably most people outside of the US or North America have not, I'll put a link down in the video description so you can get an idea about where this plaid mode comes from. But you've got this like plaid animation on the projector screen, and then over to the left you see the space gray semi truck back of the trailer open up, and there's lights and smoke coming out, and down drops these down ramps, and out comes this cherry red Tesla Roadster. And at this point the crowd just goes bananas, including me. It was such an incredible moment, so cool that there was a Apple style one more thing tied into the Tesla semi truck event. Franz von Holzhausen is in the driver's seat, comes out in front of everyone, kind of does a U-turn a little bit further away from the crowd and from the stage, and then just punches it and it flies off and everyone goes bananas again. So that was kind of how the stage was set for this Tesla Roadster, and I think everyone was just completely blown away. Completely blown away at the look of it, the style, the color. It was just an epic moment. Franz comes back into the picture. Elon Musk comes out and continues this one more thing to talk about the specs of the Roadster, which are just insane. So your 0 to 60 is 1.9 seconds. Top speed is supposed to be north of 250 miles per hour and a 620 mile range. Mind blown. Like not only is it quick, it's fast, and it's just got battery range that we've never seen in a Tesla before. And this will be, when they start producing it, the fastest production car in the world. So again, your 0 to 60 is 1.9 seconds. Your 0 to 100 miles per hour is 4.2 seconds. Quarter mile, 8.8 seconds. Top speed, as I mentioned, over 250 miles per hour. Wheel torque, this is an interesting one, and I just did a little bit of research on this. 10,000 nanometers of wheel torque. It seems like most cars are based on engine torque, and I'm not sure the difference, if there is a difference really. If you know better and you're watching this, please put it in the comments down below. Seating, two of course in the front, and then there's supposed to be some smaller jump seats in the back. I'm not sure about size. I doubt that a large person can fit in the back two seats, probably more for kids or smaller people. It's going to be all-wheel drive, which is cool. Base price, $200,000. Base reservation now is $50,000. At the time, at the event, they were doing it for $5,000. And they're also offering a Founders Series next-gen Roadster for $250,000, and they're limiting the reservations to 1,000. So 1,000 people will be lucky enough to get the Founders Series edition of this car. Wow, what can I say? So he was going through all of these specs, talking about how awesome it is, and everyone is just amazed at the specs, because no one's ever seen this before in a production car. So he gets done with the presentation. Elon gets done, and he says, "Well, why don't you come and take a look?" And by that time, the Tesla semi-trucks had come into the picture again, and then you had the red Roadster that was kind of at the forefront of the cars. And Elon said, "Why don't you come down, jump the barriers?" And everyone was like, "Really? Are you serious?" So so we all kind of try and make our way to that Roadster as fast as possible. I jump one of the barriers, and you can see once I get my live stream back up on my YouTube channel, which YouTube has taken down because the Beastie Boys was playing in the background, and they took it down for copyright infringement. But actually, hopping over one of the rails, I fell and busted it, but made my way to the Roadster as fast as possible, and there was just a swarm of people around this incredibly beautiful car, trying to get a glimpse of it, trying to get insight into the look and the shape and the interior, and it's amazing. Seeing it in person is just phenomenal. It's beautiful. I'm speechless still. A couple of interesting things that I'll note about this particular one, the one that they showed, the red one, and the gray one that they had on display at the after party. The one on display had this big old windshield wiper or windscreen wiper, which I don't think will be there when they start production. Usually the windshield wipers are kind of hidden beneath the front trunk hood. I thought that was interesting. On that gray one, they didn't have Autopilot 2.0 cameras. However, it was just actually reversed on the red one that they were doing test drives in. It did look like they had Autopilot cameras. Got a notification. It did look like they had Autopilot cameras, and there were no windshield wipers on this particular one. So they kind of transition into the after party. They've got Model X and Model S test drives, all top of the line, and then they're also, it looks like, doing test drives for the Roadster. And come to find out, anyone who put a reservation down that night, which it was $5,000, was able to get a test ride. And I wasn't interested in really putting down $5,000 on this particular car, but I know some of my friends did get to ride in it. So I did get some footage of those test rides, and it's crazy. And to see some of the reactions that people had when they got out of the car, it was just crazy. It was mind-blowing. And all of these people, they've probably been in a P100D. They know how fast it is, but they were really just speechless and blown away after getting out of the test ride. So I want to take a moment and talk about some things that I thought were really interesting about this car. And the first one is the battery size. People are saying that this is a 200 kilowatt hour battery. At 621 miles, this is just on a whole nother level of range and performance. And I wonder how they did this, first of all. With the size of the car, a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack is huge. And right now, the largest battery packs that we've seen to date in consumer vehicles are the 100 kilowatt hour packs. So this tells me that they have been working on this next generation of batteries. And I wonder if they've taken this new cell that they've introduced into the Model 3 and started to kind of tweak that and move that into some of their other vehicles. So I bet I'm wondering, I'm not going to make any predictions, but I think what we'll see here sometime maybe next year is a refresh of the S and X, and hopefully they'll go from 100 kilowatt hour to 200. We haven't seen an update in battery capacity on the S and X in over a year. So next year, let's say first quarter next year, let's say they come out with a new size with more range. I'm hoping that we get something that's over 500 miles of range. That would be exceptional. Man, I would be even happy with an S and an X over 400 miles of range. The reason why I suspect that this is probably coming is because now you've got the Model 3 that does 310 miles of range, which is not that much of a difference between the top end Model S, which does 334 miles of range. I think that they need something to distinguish that a little bit better, and a range refresh would be appropriate. And now seeing what the next gen Roadster can do with 621 miles, I think that that's going to come at some point next year, a refresh with the S and the X. But the range of a 200 kilowatt hour battery is just impressive. It's just impressive that they managed to fit all that energy into that two-door next gen Roadster. The next thing I want to talk about is this something else that we haven't seen before, which is the tri-motor. It's we've seen a single motor Tesla, we've seen a dual motor Tesla, which is all that they sell now these days. This Roadster was a tri-motor. It had 3 motors, 2 in the back and 1 in the front. And I think this is another interesting thing, and another way that they could potentially get more efficiency out of their cars moving forward. 3 motors. It makes sense as to why it's so powerful and why it can do that 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. So something really, really cool there. The other thing that I'll notate, and the last thing I'll kind of wrap this up with, is the interior. You know, we've seen with the Model 3 and the Tesla Semi this departure from an integrated touchscreen in the dash, right? Because these screens are kind of protruding and coming out. The Roadster actually had like a new version of an integrated touchscreen into the dash, and I'm actually a bit surprised. I sort of expected for that car to have the protruding touchscreen 15-inch or whatever, 17-inch, that's actually coming out, and instead of vertical, it being horizontal, just like the 3 and the semi-truck. So I wonder if they'll continue with that integrated touchscreen with S and X, or if they'll kind of depart from that and make it so that it is protruding and horizontal instead of vertical. All right, so that concludes the Tesla Semi event recap. Hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you're in the market for an S or X, my referral code is down below, and it's going to help you get free supercharging for life through the end of 2017, and it'll help get me to more events like the Semi Truck 1. So it's a win-win, I think. Thanks for tuning in, and see you on the next video.